All right, everyone. So the conversation today is about how to move forward with the photocubism that we started on Friday. Remember, we're working with a single teacher's face, and we're going to look at some examples here from some really nice ones that were done last year. You're going to see a lot of pattern and repetition here. You're going to see some different techniques in terms of how they're making their selection. So I'm just going to go through these and talk a little bit about each one, and hopefully you get a sense of how you'd like to move forward with this. So here's Mrs. Maurizio, who's no longer here. She's retired, but this student decided to make a polygonal lasso selection around the glasses and really make that this whole piece about that, repeating it. We've got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, about like eight or nine of those kind of sprayed up in a vertical direction. Looks like they picked some other kind of dark element and created this kind of interesting patterning that's going on. Almost feels like some kind of a tapestry or like a rug kind of thing. And then, of course, they did a selection of the mouth. But again, this is all done using the polygonal lasso tool. So this is a successful technique. They're really fixating on one element of the picture of the person and kind of making it about that, and then building in this other sort of webbing or network of dark image in the background with a sort of like this floral accent of the mouth on top of this. So it's cool, funny, weird to look at. Here's a great one of Mr. Messier. So similar technique. They didn't build in all the patterning around it, but you can see that they also decided to make a polygonal lasso selection of just the glasses, and then just have that repetition, just that tight repetition going up, and then do the same thing with the mouth and the chin, where they have that spraying down. So you get this really kind of silly, fun image of Mr. Messier, but meanwhile keeping the background intact. So you can do something like this was with Mrs. Marizio, where they kind of built in this patterning, which is interesting too. But just even doing this work on the face itself and letting the background remain the same is totally fine. This is a slightly different approach. This is, of course, done using the rectangular selection tool. And it's just kind of making selections and spraying them around. And, this really kind of speaks to that fragmented cubist approach that we were looking at on Friday with the work of David Hockney and the photo cubism work that he did. So several different selections, not just fixating on one element, like say the glasses of the mouth, but making selections of the ear, the hairline, the eye, the mouth. And some of these I can tell are actually lasso selections, and some of them are rectangular selections. So you can mix up the selections that you want to use, and then just think of some kind of way of like, again, that fracturing or sort of like allowing to face the face to kind of spill apart into different elements of the photo itself. Similar technique here. Again, this is all done using the rectangle selection tool, and it really has this great sort of tiled effect in the way that they've made several selections. In scale shift too, we got literally small selections here. We've got some larger ones. Some of them are almost perfect squares. Some are more rectangles. But there's what works about this piece is the way that the selections are kind of sprayed around on the image in a very consistent way. It really has this great kind of tiled effect. So I appreciate that one. This is getting into the realm of the silly. So this is like doing some polygonal selection tool selections on, again, the glasses, but then the nose, taking an element of the hair and giving her these sort of like horn things, and then the same thing with the mouth. So you can go different ways. You can make it about pattern, or you can kind of create this. I don't want to say monsters. We love these teachers, but kind of creating some kind of new, sort of, oh, whatever. I guess like kind of like a teacher monster in a sense, but kind of fun and playful. So I like that one too. This is an interesting one. Just picking the eye and doing this kind of like, it's kind of mysterious, but also kind of pretty patterning with the eye. Kind of reminds me of some kind of Egyptian imagery or something like that. And doing that, these eyes almost become like flowers and having them in the four corners. And then I'm not even sure what this selection is here. It might be just like a part of the skin, but they like look how many times they repeated that around. That really creates this sort of like flower like element that covers up her nose and her mouth. So that's a cool different technique too. Here's another one similar to the one with Miss Maurizio, where they were doing the rectangular selections, but they did the same thing here with Miss Reinish, but they were doing it all with triangles. Okay, here I'm running out of time here. Let's get through a couple more of these. So essentially, this is what you want to do, though. Decide what my approach is going to be, what selection tool I'm going to use. Here we have Dr. Rhodes. Again, using the glasses, I like that they made some rotations here. They took something from the hand and repeated it up here. So it creates this curious new image, okay? And I think that's my last one here. I'm going to do another second video.